what does success look like to you, and what do you think are some of the keys to being a successful business owner?
For me, I wanted control
Yeah.
over my life, and I wanted control over my time. I wanted freedom.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Brand, a podcast where we take a deep dive and a look at the people and the stories behind the brands that we love and that we know about. We believe that behind every great brand is a great story, is a great entrepreneur, and that's what this podcast is all about. I'm really excited about my guest today, Mr. Bill Anderson from Assisted Living Locators. Bill, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I met Bill at Networking Now in Fenton.
Yeah.
The entirety of my time there, our company belonged to Networking Now for about 2-3 years.
Yeah.
And I had my sales and marketing director, Casey, go for a few years, and he moved on to a new career. And then so Morgan and I started going for probably the last year-ish. And that's where I met you. You were the VP
Right.
the entirety of that time, and you just kind of handed that off to someone else. So there's probably a little bit of relief there, I would imagine.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I don't know what to do with myself on Thursday mornings because there's no prep or anything.
Just
I
show up and give your little commercial. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. So yeah, it's been good getting to know you. We actually talked about this podcast a while back, and just things didn't allow us to get it started, and we had to step away from the group, but we wanted to stay connected. And so we thought this would be a great way. We've had some great guests come, and we're excited about having you. So before we dive into your business, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Well, I live in Fenton. I've lived there for 30 years. Married. Between my wife and I, we have 4 children.
4
Yeah. And
boys, girls.
she brought 2 boys to the union, and I have 2 girls. And
Good mix. I have 3 and 3 boys, 3 girls. So it's a good mix.
it is a good mix, and they get along great, and they're all 20 somethings.
That helps.
And so we're empty nesters and enjoying that. And I'm very active in the Fenton community, and just love to spend time with family, friends. We are both avid golfers.
Okay.
And so we spend a lot of time doing that. And
What do you do to play golf in the wintertime?
I'm okay with not playing at all. I'm not that crazy about it, but because by the time we're in a couple of leagues and so forth, by the time September rolls around, I'm ready to take a break.
Yeah.
So right now it's for early March, so I'm getting the itch again. So
Yeah.
I just kind of take it easy.
Start to see a little grass on the ground, and
Yeah.
maybe start pulling the chipper out a little bit and just start swinging it in the garage.
Yes.
Get the itch. Yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah.
I get it. Have you ever done the Top Golf down there? And
We have. In fact, when my wife and I were dating, that's how we kind of got our families together for the
Okay.
first time. And it's become kind of an annual thing to do around the holidays, is to spend an afternoon down there. So
it's a lot of fun. I enjoy it. It's completely different than golf. I actually, the last time I went, I said, it'd be cool if somebody took one of these old golf courses that is either closed or is not getting much use and turned it into a Top Golf style course where you turn the entire green into one of those big rings, and wherever you get, you get points. And, instead of it just being like this little hole, it's kind of a different kind of more, I think that would draw more casual people to the sport. And then you start doing that a little bit and you start to be, but I don't know. I thought that'd be a fun business idea. Probably be really expensive to make something like that.
Yeah.
But I thought that could be a lot of fun. So we talked a little bit about before the show. You're not from Fenton originally. You actually used to spend a little time here in the Owasso area doing some stuff with your former company, but you're from Cleveland. So what brought you from Cleveland to Michigan?
Well, a job. I had gotten my first break. I'd been out of school for about 4 years and gotten a break into the pharmaceutical industry, and we didn't get to choose where we landed. That was picked for us.
Yeah.
And so I ended up in Michigan, and the Fenton area was just a good place for us to be at the
Yeah.
time.
Fenton's awesome.
Yeah.
Fenton's awesome. It's a great area. What we've loved, I'm born and raised here, and we've just, started to try to make more connections in that area. And what we really have noticed is it's such a supportive business community.
Hmm.
Whether you go to a chamber event or to the networking events, all the other businesses really want to see the businesses around them succeed.
Hmm.
Everybody's trying to help each other. The community groups and programs are really active in supporting the business community. And, we got a new chamber president here that has a really good vision. We're hoping to see some of that here, because this area has frankly kind of struggled in that area of like supporting the small businesses. And there have been some great people along the way that have done a good job.
Yeah.
But one of the things we love about Fenton and Linden in particular is the support that you see. We went to the Fenton Linden chamber event last week over at Skipper Buds,
Hmm.
and it was just great. It was just great. The thriving business community is so evident, and it was evident that everyone there is kind of there to help support each other. Obviously, they want to support their own business, but it's just a very unique thing we've noticed in a lot of the communities we've been involved in. So,
Yeah. That's one of the things that I noticed about Fenton even before I got into business is it's not just the businesses that support each other, but the community supports local business.
yeah, yeah, no, and it has to be, and I think that's another troubling thing here is like, um, a lot of the community kind of prefers the big box stores that come in just down the road because it's a lesser price or it's more convenient. Um, and although I shop at all the big boxes as well, if I can support a small business first, even though I might spend a little more money, I do that. And that's a mindset that has to be built in a community. I don't think
Yeah.
people just, especially when things are tough and things are tight and times are tough, people don't think that way naturally. So you have to have a strong education in the area to kind of show people why that's important and how that kind of helps push a community forward. So
Hmm.
one of the main reasons I started AZEE is because I grew up in this community. I saw so many businesses that I love go out of business. And for me, like when I drive by empty storefronts, I truly get sad. Like I
Oh,
realize
yeah.
that's someone's dream that just didn't work out. And uh, owning a small business is a very vulnerable thing. And so I wanted to be in a business that would help more businesses stay open.
Today's episode is brought to you by AZEE Branding Agency, where we help grow your brand from A to Z. If your business is great but nobody knows it, you don't have a marketing problem, you've got a branding problem. At AZEE, we help you stand out with bold branding by creating websites, social media, video, and photography that actually gets noticed. Because attention is the #1 currency in business, and your brand deserves more of it. Learn more at azeebranding.com, and let's get your brand the attention it deserves.
Let's talk about assisted living locators and tell our audience a little bit about what it is and who you're trying to connect with and what you guys offer.
Sure. Assisted Living Locators provides a free service helping families find the best senior living options for their loved ones. And it could be anything from assisted living and memory care to independent living or even residential care homes, and also connecting them with other senior related services. Maybe it's in-home care that the family really needs. And I do it based on level of care need, what their budget is, preferences they may have. And it's, like I said, a free service to the family. And I try really, really hard to understand what their situation is from a health and medical needs standpoint, also the financial standpoint, and anything else I can learn that can help me find the right fit for them, because I really want to get it right the first time.
Okay, so what took you from your former career that was in pharmaceuticals? What kind of brought you to this career?
Yeah, I had been in pharmaceutical sales for 27 years. It was great. I did well. treated me well, but I had gotten to a point where I just felt like I needed to do something different, and I kind of felt like Groundhog Day each day. And I didn't know what to do. And I spoke to a friend of mine who happens to be a franchise consultant. And one of the ideas that he came across for me was assisted living locators. And it just connected with me because my family went through this with our mom. And it was an overwhelming, stressful experience to figure out where she was going to live. What do we do with the house?
How are you going to pay for it?
Right.
All of those things. Yeah.
All of those things. So,
yeah. And I think it's difficult for anyone to make the choice to put your parent or grandparent into a home. I think we all feel like a responsibility in most cases that we should take care of them, but many times don't have the capacity, or their needs surpass what you can provide for them. And so I can imagine, I have not had to make a choice like that yet. But I can imagine that could be a very stressful thing. And so do people seek you out? How do you find people that are looking for that? Do you get referrals from, doctor's offices? Like, how do people find you, I guess, is the question I'm trying to ask. Or how do you find them?
All of that.
Yeah.
So primarily I will focus on skilled nursing and rehab facilities or hospitals. Because oftentimes there's a crisis that occurs, a fall, a stroke, and with an elderly loved one, it becomes apparent that they can't live alone anymore. And if they're in one of those places that I mentioned, usually they're going to be discharged in a short amount of time, and the family does not know what to do because their loved one cannot live at home alone anymore, or with another elderly spouse.
Right.
So that's the primary spot. But I get a lot of referrals from estate planning and elder law attorneys, financial advisors, doctors. I work with their offices. And then I'm active in chambers and networking groups. And I'm fortunate that I after 30 years, I have a pretty big circle.
Good network, yeah.
And so people are learning. In fact, on the way here, I got a call from the father of a friend of mine. And so just all of those places.
Well, that's interesting. So, how does the process work when a family reaches out to you and just says, hey, Dad, we can't take care of him anymore. He needs to be in a home. Are you primarily looking for something in their area, in their budget, depending on their needs, maybe all of those things? Like, how does the process work? How do you help point them in the right direction?
So I will either meet with them. I prefer to meet with them in person.
Yeah.
And sometimes that conversation, though, is over the phone. And I'll spend as long as an hour taking them through a discovery process to understand what put them in this position, what the medical need is, what their budget is, and also find out a little bit about their history, because that may uncover resources that they didn't think about. Maybe their father was a veteran and they're eligible for veterans benefits. So, and then I also ask them, where do you want to be?
Yeah.
What location? And so really all of those things that you mentioned and beyond, I will have those answers to. And then I have a CRM of communities that I work with, and we'll match them to 2 or 3 that I think will be a good fit.
Okay. So what do you do when a family comes to you and they're like, hey, we need to do this, but we don't have money? Like, how does a family, because I'm certainly someone watching is like, maybe they're in that situation. They need care and they don't know how to pay for it or don't have a budget for it. How do you direct somebody in that situation?
I will still sit down with them and take them through that process, because they say that, but they may not realize that they do have resources that they may not have been aware of.
Yeah.
Maybe their parent had a long-term care insurance policy that they weren't aware of.
Right.
That can go a long way. But in cases where there just aren't the resources, there are organizations throughout Genesee, Shiawassee, Lapeer counties that can help them, whether it's the Valley Area Agency on Aging or PACE. There are organizations that can help them navigate that pathway, and oftentimes they can use their Medicaid insurance to help cover some of the care that their loved one needs, and maybe they don't need to move them just yet, or maybe they need to be moved to Medicaid and find a Medicaid type facility.
This is so interesting. I mean, this is why I love this podcast, because just learning about something that I really never even knew existed. I knew long-term assisted living care existed, but never really have thought about the process from when you get the news to getting them into the place, and having kind of a liaison between there to help them and guide them through the process. I think it's interesting, and I think it's a great service. And so, I would say if you're listening and you're in that position, reach out to Bill, and we're going to let him tell you how you can connect with him at the end of the show. But I think it's very, very cool. So you said you own, it is a franchise, but you own kind of this region. What region do you cover?
Well, specifically, it's southern Genesee, northwest Oakland, northern Livingston County.
Okay.
However, I can go beyond that area. I have, and I've even placed people in Florida.
Oh, wow.
And that's one of the nice things about being a franchisee is we have partners throughout the country. We also have national contracts with several of the larger assisted living communities.
Very cool. So how long have you been doing this?
2.5, almost 3 years.
Okay. So in those 3 years, again, you've kind of went from doing, as a sales rep, you have some autonomy, and you have some, it's kind of like having your own business. If you don't sell, you don't make money, right?
Right. Yeah.
So it's certainly a good training ground and a proving ground as to whether or not you could go out and do your own thing. But I'm sure you've noticed some big differences in, having kind of that structure that's set up for you, and you probably get leads and all these types of things. Whereas when you're your own business owner, you got to go make it happen. It's dependent on you and whoever you decide to hire and the networks you build to make it work. And so, having success as your own boss, the possibilities are endless, but you got to work for it, right?
Yeah,
you got to work for it. And so we talk a lot about on the podcast about success and what does success mean to you. I have a theory, a philosophy really, that success has to be determined individually. What's success to you might not be success to me. And I think a lot of people use a generic definition of success, and so they always feel like they're never there. And I think it's so important that as you start a new business, that you sit down and think, what do I want to get from this? What does success look like for me in this? Is it a big bank account? Is it freedom? Is it time? Is it more vacation? Like, what is it, right? And I think a lot of business owners make the mistake of never identifying that. And so they really never know when they've achieved success, and they beat themselves up constantly feeling like they're not keeping up with whoever else down the road. And that other person might have a completely different goal than you. And so compare yourself to other business owners. It's not always the wisest thing to do, in my opinion. I think it's great to get inspiration from other people, but you have to define for you what is success. So I'd like to ask you, what does success look like to you, and what do you think are some of the keys to being a successful business owner?
Yeah, I think for me, I wanted control over my life, and I wanted control over my time. I wanted freedom. And so for me, success means being able to do things that I want to do when I want to do them. And I don't want a lot, but my daughters live out of state.
I want to go see them.
When I want to go see them, I want to go see them.
Yeah.
And so that's probably the biggest thing. What gets me there, what helps me is I do spend time. I'm a big proponent of meditation. That helps me keep focused.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to be planned, to have a plan that not just for the day or for the week, but that goes beyond several weeks or months, and work that plan. Ralph Waldo Emerson has a quote that says something to the effect of, wear it on your heart to make the most of every day. And you can't truly seize the day unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so I make it a point to have a game plan in place day to day and week to week, et cetera. And that to me helps me. And that's based on my own personal metrics that I come up with for appointments or contacts that I want to make. But to me, that's the thing that really helps me stay focused and on track.
I think that's fantastic advice. And it's amazing to me how few business owners really kind of define what they want to do or haven't thought about it. So they're not measuring it. Maybe they're measuring it by the P&L, and the P&L is important. You got to make profit or you don't exist. But you're going to have years where profit is high and sales are high, and years where sales are low and profit is low. That's just the ebb and flow of business. And so, if your goal is the most profit, then that's a great goal to have, but then that's easy to measure, right? I mean, my wife and I just had this conversation the other day. There are times where it's like, man, it feels like we're working this business. We've been at this 11 years and we're working it. And in some ways, we feel like we're way ahead of where we thought we would be in 11 years. And in other areas, it's like we're still waiting for the potential to crack open on this particular part. But we just talked about, we just got through a basketball season with our kids. And since we started this, I've been able to coach all of my kids through high school basketball.
That's great. And
it's created so many phenomenal memories. I've been able to win a state championship with now 4 of my kids.
Wow.
In sports as a coach, and enjoying those experiences together and creating that non-negotiable time that sometimes I have to leave the office at 2:00 to run to a practice or to go to an away game, but it's a non-negotiable. And the fact that I'm able to do that because of this business, that's success. So I said, even when it feels like, man, profits are lower or sales are down, let's not lose sight of the fact that this has created a lot of success in our lives because of what we wanted out of it. And I think where the business can get stressful and overwhelming and why a lot of people quit is because they don't even really know what they're targeting. And I like what you said about, each day kind of determining this is what I want to do. I call that a today list. There's a to-do list, but I try to every day make a today list. Like, what are the things that I have to accomplish today? Because inevitably I'm going to want to go do something else. I'm going to get pulled, but here are the few things. And those things should be pushing me towards something that I'm working towards. And so I think that's excellent advice, and I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Sure.
What would you say is your best business decision to date? Something that you've made a decision like that was a really good decision.
I think just getting started was the best decision I ever made. I mean, I was walking away from a career that I had known for almost 30 years. And at the time that I was contemplating this move, and up to the time that I actually decided to jump, I was doing well personally. I mean, and in fact, the year that I left, my team was the number 1 team in the country. So I missed out on a trip. But I felt like, do I stay where I am? And yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm doing well, but I'm not that fulfilled or happy, or do I make the leap? And I knew that if I didn't make the leap, that in 10 years, I would regret it. I'd look back and say, God, I wish I would have done this. So that was it. I mean, just
the decision to start.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, there's probably a lot of people watching today that, have an idea, have wanted to do something. I don't know how many times I saw a product on Shark Tank and I'm like, oh, I invented that 5 years ago, but I actually didn't. I just thought about it and I never did anything. Right.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people watching are probably in that boat where they're working a job that they don't like. They have this idea, this thing they want to pursue. And I think if you're willing, number one, I think everyone needs to really figure out if you are actually an entrepreneur, because not everybody is. I think entrepreneurship is trendy right now, so everyone wants to try it. But if you have an idea of a product, a service, or something that you believe where you can solve a problem in the marketplace, and that's such a key, you have to truly be able to solve some problem in the marketplace. If you can't, then you probably shouldn't start that business. But if you have an idea, you believe in yourself, maybe the best thing is just get started. And maybe getting started looks like doing it in your spare time. You work your job, and then you come home at night and you work that thing. You use your weekends and work towards something, but you never get anywhere by just talking about it. You got to actually get it started. What do you think is something you're most proud of so far in your business journey?
I think what I'm most proud of is really just sticking with it. It has been challenging these first almost 3 years. There have been times when I questioned what I was doing. But I've had enough success and enough feedback from whether it's clients or peers that affirms that I'm doing the right thing and that I'm on the right pathway.
Good.
So,
yeah, I mean, I think I had this conversation recently with someone that, I come from a pretty successful career in hospitality and was on a track to own my own hotel and, could be making real serious money. And, walked away from it for some other things that I wanted, like control of my time, to be able to not miss out on everything my kids were doing. The hotel world will take everything from you that you're willing to give it and then some. And I walked away from it. And to this day, after 11 years, I still am not paying myself as much as I would be making in that other career.
mm-hmm.
I'm not. And so some people are like, you're crazy. Why are you doing that? And that's why, again, we go back to the determining what success is to you, right? And, I've had times in my life where I had the big house and the big bank account and the things, but missed out on all the things my kids were doing.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that wasn't a good trade-off. It wasn't. And to them, it wasn't a good trade-off. To my wife, it wasn't a good trade-off. And so it's a season of life, right? And there may come a time where that changes. And I think you have to be adaptable. But in this season of life, this business has given me the things that I have needed and wanted for my family. And so to me, it feels very successful.
Mm-hmm.
And, you point out to a CPA might say, this is not that successful, but his definition of mine might be different. And I think that's such an important thing for business owners and entrepreneurs to really define. So I kind of want to round the episode off with talking about, the podcast is called Behind the Brand. Every business is a brand.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about there's something behind every brand that makes it good or bad. And people think of the brand as like the logo and the font. That's just a visual identity. Well, but in your opinion, what do you think are the things that make a great brand?
I think it's very important to have a mission, which, could be, filling a need, obviously is something that is critical. But also, you really have to believe in what you're doing and how it can help people. And for me, to really pull through the brand of Assisted Living Locators, I need to feel like I'm working with my own family because they're in a very vulnerable time. And that I take that to heart. And so I want to do the very, very best for them. And so I think it's important to just to be all in and understand what your mission is and how you can do that to the best of your ability.
Great answer. Another thing we say a lot here on the podcast, and really at AZEE, it's something that we preach adamantly, is that the number one currency in any business is attention. You maybe have heard me say that at Networking Now. You can have a great product and a great service, but if nobody knows about it, then you don't have a business, right? You have a hobby or you have a side gig. And so you need attention. So we're all doing things to get attention. We're on a podcast right now to get some attention for not necessarily just ourselves, but we are kind of our businesses. So, but for our business, right?
Yeah.
We go to chamber events and to Networking Now to give a little 30-second commercial to get some attention, to just get people talking about it. So, there are a lot of ways for businesses to do that. What are some of the things that you and Assisted Living Locators does, through your franchise specifically to get attention?
A lot of it is social media. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. Uh, I do a lot out in the community, whether it's panels that focus on things that seniors should think about doing to have everything ready when that time comes. I've done a lot of work with the Alzheimer's Association. I have a sister that has Alzheimer's. So with that, again, being out in the community and getting in front of people, to me, in the area that I focus on is a big thing. But then, social media, videos, I'm glad that we're doing this. That is something that has been on my New Year's plan is to do more of this type of thing.
Sure.
That I think is more beneficial than just putting a post and making a few bullet points about something.
Yeah. Well, I think, like you said, you listed a lot of things there, and you as a business owner have to believe that if there's more people talking about you, there's more people that know you exist, and there's more people that see you from time to time, that's going to be better for business. It's going to give you more opportunity. And, we can't always attribute a sale to a single post or to a single, meeting that I had or to a single networking event that I went to. But all of it combined equals conversation, opportunity. It keeps you in the game. And, we are preaching social media. I'm glad to hear you say that, because I think every business owner needs to be active on social media. Today in 2026, the majority of the attention that's out there is on social media, and it's so inexpensive. Even if you don't do ads, it's free to post. It just takes a little bit of your time. So if you're at a place where you can't hire someone or hire an agency, then just start putting stuff out there. And when it comes to video content, something like this is an elaborate setup that's taken us years and years to be able to get to this place. But if you look at the first iterations of our podcast, 6 years ago, it's awful. Cheap cameras, bad lights, bad host, not knowing what we're doing, bad audio, echoing in a room. We actually filmed in a big building where our room had no ceiling, so you hear people talking around it was just bad.
Yeah.
But we put it out there and we started getting better at it. And so, you have to believe that you need attention, find ways to get it. And, maybe just start with a video. Maybe that 30-second commercial you do at Networking Now every week, that's your first video.
Right.
Just, hey guys, Bill Anderson here with Assisted Home Living. My ask today is, and you just ask your followers, and that you start with that, and you just put it out there, and it's going to be bad, and you're going to watch it back. Like, I don't like it, but your friends are going to laugh about it, but you just get better at it, and you get better at it. And before you know, it's something you're very comfortable with. It's getting you business, and it's very important. So, if you could do anything differently over the last 2.5 years, what's something you would do differently if you started today?
I think that would not. I'm kind of a analytical person, and I think about things, and I wouldn't think about that so much. I would just put my nose to the grindstone even more than I have, and not worry about what's going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, you learn pretty quickly. Like, the ones that win are the ones that just take the risk and put it out there. And we all can be super guilty of analysis paralysis, right?
Okay.
Where we just don't do anything because it's not quite ready yet. And so, yeah, I think just put it out there, take the risk, try something. It might fail, but there's lots of lessons to be learned in failure as well. So
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, this is the last question I have for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to play a little game called Say It in 60.
Okay.
What is the best piece of business advice you've ever received?
Just recently, it wasn't necessarily directed to me, but it was part of a presentation that I heard, and it was just keep swimming.
Keep swimming.
Keep swimming.
Yeah.
Like keep going.
Like Finding Nemo.
And right. Keep
Just
swimming.
keep swimming.
You know, it can be rough, as you know, as a business owner.
Sure can.
But I believe in what I'm doing. I believe I'm in the right place. I'm doing the right thing. I chose the right business or profession, and I love it. I love what I do, and when I see it work, that brings me enough satisfaction that I want to keep moving forward and keep swimming. So I think that would be it.
I love that. I love that. I think I'm convinced, we've had actually a lot of our guests have said something very, very similar. Don't quit or keep going. And I'm convinced, and I've said this, I had a mentor of mine, a friend who, I think he was on episode 3 of my original podcast. So we're talking, 6 years ago. And he said the statement, I'm not going to fail because I'm not going to quit. And I think, I'm convinced that most of the people that make it are the ones that just didn't quit, even when it seemed like quitting was the right thing. And there are certainly times where you probably should just hang it up, right? But a lot of times people quit right before they were just that close to getting there. And so the endurance, the push, the tenacity, those things are all so important. So, all right. Well, I appreciate you sharing those things with me and sharing your journey, sharing about what you guys do. And at the end, I'm going to give you an opportunity to tell everyone what you want people to know and how they can connect with you and all those things. But we're going to play this little game that we do with every guest. It's called Say It in 60. You may have seen it. We ask 10 rapid fire questions in 60 seconds. So you got to give short answers. And if you win, then you just win. That's it. You can take that bottle of water home with you. So.
Awesome.
If not, you got to keep it here, right?
I just want to beat Broogie.
Yes. Yeah. She did it with 5 seconds to spare. So I think you can do it.
That's really good for her.
Yeah. Yeah. She really overthought some of those answers. So, okay. Micah, are you ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The timer starts now. What is your favorite hobby?
Golf.
Favorite place you've ever been?
Jamaica.
Favorite food?
Thanksgiving.
A must-read book?
Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway.
A favorite podcast?
Behind Your Brand.
A daily habit everyone should practice?
Meditation.
A TV series worth binge watching?
Ozark.
It's a good one. In your opinion, what will help a brand grow more? High-quality photography or high-quality video?
Video.
A great website or a great social media presence?
Great social media presence.
Last question, how much time? 20 seconds to spare. What is the number one key to success?
To persistence.
Persistence
is that.
And with 11 seconds to spare, that might be a record on this season. So, Broogie, he got you by a long shot. So, good job, man. Way to go. And I appreciate, again, you being my guest and sharing all these things, making the drive over here to Owasso.
Well, you're welcome. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm glad I got to finally see the AZEE studios and
Behind
the whole
brand,
operation
right?
here, right?
Yeah. No, I've been enjoying having everybody over here to our neck of the woods. And if there's ever anything AZEE can do to help you in your endeavor to get more attention, we're happy to help you. Even if it's just a phone call or a text to say, hey, what would you do here? I'm happy to give advice. I'm a brand nerd, so I love helping people. And even if it doesn't turn into like a working relationship, consider us a resource of someone that can help advise and is happy to be there. And, I appreciate you guys' friendship and all those things.
Likewise.
So before we go, I want you to look into that camera. I want you to tell our audience, last chance, how do they connect with you? What do you want them to know going away to connect with you and what you guys do?
Yeah. When it comes to aging loved ones, it's a hard time in life and it can be overwhelming and very difficult. I have done a lot of the legwork, the homework. I've done a lot of the hard work for you, and I can make that process a lot easier. And the best way to get a hold of me is my phone number is 810-444-2378. Or you can check out my website is assistedlivinglocators.com/Northwest Oakland.
All right. And he's on Facebook and LinkedIn as well, and
Facebook,
Instagram.
LinkedIn, Instagram.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Hey, you're ahead of the game already if you're on all those. So good job. Good job. Keep up the good work, and I appreciate it again. And thank you all for watching. As my mother always said, you can't and never could until you tried. So go out there and try something great, my friends, and don't take the easy way out. We'll see you next time.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. We want to connect with you. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and let us know what guests you want us to have on the podcast. Follow us on social media for more branding insights, and thanks for watching Behind the Brand.